Hello and welcome to Leash Dad's podcast. We are back, the Leash Dad's original OG duo. That's Justin.
Hey, that's Jared over there.
We are two leashed fathers and dads that get together to discuss our everyday life while chained to our parental responsibilities. And tonight we're off the rails, folks. No topic. It's going to be fun. Going off the rails on the Leash Dad train.
Oh, the dad train, not the crazy train, but the dad train. Yes, we are finally back as a wholesome, as a whole. No, two halves, one whole. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So, we're back. Tonight is, well, I don't know, the first night back. So we'll see. We'll see how everything turns out. Um, Jared, I want to kind of catch up here. It's been a while, right? Or at least it feels like it's been a while, a couple weeks now. Um, I've had a lot of shit going on, right? I know one week you were sick, right? You were feeling like crap,
Yep.
so you weren't there. So I did a lot of, I won't say BS, but I did some more about learning about Justin that week. Because I feel like it's more important for our community to kind of know us a little bit more as well. So I took the opportunity to do that. You, as last week, I was busy beyond all belief, which is really crazy. And just it was a typical week, but everything just kind of all of a sudden do one thing, do another thing, and time just escaped. And I felt so far behind with my children, my fatherly duties, that it just became like I'm not going to be able to get on, get something recorded, and be effective. Um, so that's kind of where my week was at. Hopefully, you're feeling better, my man. Um, you sounded
Damn.
better last week as I was going through that episode, and thanks for the pitch of here. Have some fun editing this episode, Justin. I edited that out. That out, by the way.
Damn. No fun. Come on.
Hey, I had fun editing it though, so um, it was a good time. But now that we're back together, hopefully everything starts going smoothly. But yeah, my weeks have been crazy. Today, or I shouldn't say today, but Wednesday itself, uh, was was crazy. Okay, um, for the fact that in the morning on Wednesday, it was in fact very slow at my job because we had like 3 or 4 patients cancel their appointments, and then all of a sudden, it's like okay, everything's going well. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock rolls around, and bam, it's like, where the fuck did we just get our ass? We just got our asses handed to us. Like here's your right hand, here's my ass, and it's like bam, like, and we should know, like, I don't know what it is, but every single day around, I want to say around noon or 1 o'clock, in the afternoon, it does pick up a bit quite often, where it's more like just and I won't say plain visits, but it's more visits where they just come in for some adjustments. Versus in the morning, it is more like the longer appointments where they either get their like put bands on their molars or certain teeth that need bands for certain um, or appliances or part of their treatment. Um, so they do that, but then, or in the morning, it's always getting their braces off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a debanding, for example, is basically a 3-hour appointment. You take the braces
Wow.
off, you put the permanent retainers in, you do scanning, you take pictures of your now new face after the braces have been on there for months and whatnot, or years. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, Wednesday was just like, what the hell happened? So, I'm looking forward to the weekend though. As some may know, um, my eldest son Kane is very active in wrestling tournaments. So it's almost like every weekend we have a tournament we go to. So come the time during this episode is released, uh, if you're listening to this, I will probably be in Berlin, watching my son wrestle. Hopefully, he will take.
Berlin.
Yeah, Berlin. Berlin. Yep. So yes, I'm going out to Germany for all you that care. No, I'm not going to Germany. Uh, Berlin, Wisconsin. So it's about a half hour away from myself. It should be fun. Um, Hopefully, I mean he's been improving quite a bit, so hopefully he can take another decent placing. Um, Last tournament he was at was Oconto Falls, and he actually took second in his bracket, out of 4 people. So he's definitely gone up, which is good. It's good to see that he's definitely improving. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking forward to seeing how he takes place or what place he takes in this upcoming tournament. Assuming it's not just 2 people in his bracket or anything like that. I'd like to see him wrestle and perform well, versus getting something not he always does perform well or does his best. That's what matters. But I would like to see more opponents and more opportunities for him to continue to perform versus just maybe 1 or 2 matches against the same opponent. So, and we've had that a couple times too, but that's because people don't always fit in his bracket or whatnot. So, his weight and his grade, I'm sorry, but a 59-pound fifth grader just doesn't seem right.
No.
But he takes his body styles after his mother, so, and you know what she looks like for so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What about you? What has your week brought to you, or what has your past couple weeks brought to you?
In and out of sinus and flu-ish symptoms. Dizzy spell. I mean, it's just my. I probably should go to an actual doctor, but
You haven't done
um,
that yet?
I do not run to the doctor every time that I get sick. I
Well,
only
this
go
has
to the
been
doctor if I can't move or if I have a cough that won't go away for a month.
well, it's kind of funny because you say you can't move and you're going to a doctor because you can't move.
Well, that means it's extreme, and if I can't move for like 2 days, then there's something really wrong.
Yeah, but this has been your sickness has been ongoing too, hasn't it?
On
Or is
and
it just
off. It's not constant. It's on and off.
oh? I mean that's fair.
Yeah.
Are do your children get sick too, and then it just kind of goes like in a cycle?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it is here too. Eleonora is just rolling over as I'm watching her video cam, um, but she had some sort of sinus. I think it was a sinus infection, so put her on some antibiotic for that. Yeah, so she's getting over it. The kids are finally, I think, on their full mend. No more getting sick or anything like that. Um, Unfortunately for me, I have a small or a slight cough that has more or less the um, like sinus drainage and everything. It's fun. It's pleasurable.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's it's partly
I
what
mean,
I'm going
it's
through,
not
but
bad. It's kind of now that I think about it, but I'm not going to share any more grueling details.
yeah, every morning's an adventure with what's going to come up out of my throat.
Uh, Mine's throughout the day though too. Like I'll
Oh,
cough and then all of a sudden it feels like I've got a loogie in the back of my throat. It's like,
yep.
yeah, great guys, that's great. Let's get rid of that. So,
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I don't. Work has been pretty interesting. I finally got it's kind of a promotion, but I'm actually doing my job. Like I'm doing the title my job says I'm doing, kind of thing.
finally,
After 3 years, finally, where my job responsibilities match my title. I know it sounds ridiculous, folks, but it actually is nice to do what I'm paid to do, instead of being 3 people at once.
so now
So
you can't bitch about your pay grade is too low or whatever. I'm not doing the job or my pay grade. It's not above my pay grade or anything like
Well, I
that.
will always complain about that until I get an actual wage where I can afford to take my family on vacations every year and afford to pay off my student loans and afford to fix up my house. Then I, once I have that, I'll stop complaining. But until that point, I'm going to complain because this is fucking hell. Just saying it.
Yeah, it's above your pay grade,
Yeah,
or is
but
it below your pay grade? One of the two.
I don't know. I just
You're not paid
I'm
enough for the
getting
shit you were doing.
right. I'm getting really, really just irritated with the way this economy is going, and I'm burnt out already. And my wife and I are planning to go on a vacation, just to say, a big fu to everybody else because I have not been on vacation since I was 15 or 14 years old. Like I haven't physically left the state to go somewhere else in
Holy
about
hell!
10 years. No, more than that, 11 years. So we're gonna blow our tax money on a trip to San Diego.
Nice. Taking the kids too, or just the two
Oh,
of you?
of course. No, it's a family vacation.
There you go. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't
you
know.
know, uh,
Sometimes, I mean, you think of it this way, right? Sam and I technically have not had a honeymoon at all. Like our honeymoon
yeah.
was going on the family vacation that we do on like an annual trip or annually with my family. This year, this summer, we are going down to Florida with my family in July.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's
Okay.
gonna be fun. Yes, we're driving. We're gonna be spending like 24 hours driving straight through the states.
Mm.
Um, we'll probably make some pit stops here and there, right? So the kids can
Well, you
sort of
have
get out,
to
stretch. Yeah, you have to. But
stop in Louisville. Stay at the Galt House. Not super expensive, but a really nice hotel
well,
and really
we'll
easy to
see.
get to off the highway.
We'll see. I don't know because I think we're gonna leave Friday the 19th of July, which I'm supposed to technically work, but I've already planned that I'm taking that. I've relinquished my day. I get two relinquishments um, a year that if I don't have to work. So like I can go like, yep, I want to relinquish this, but that means I also lose out on the 4 hours that would get paid for, which is fine, whatever. Um, but I did that instead of using like PTO or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll probably leave sometime Friday morning or whatnot, or however that works out. Um, drive somewhere. Who knows where we're gonna hit up? Um, maybe I'll try to go to bed early Thursday night and start our fuck. Yeah. Go to bed early Thursday night and try to start early in the morning. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But apparently, my parents are leaving earlier that week or something like that. Like since they're retired, yay. They're probably going to go do some sightseeing along the way rather than just have to do, a long trip. Granted, it is just two people in a vehicle versus like six. Um,
Right.
so it'll, definitely different. But I'm excited to do that, which also leads to the fact that it'll be our 6-year anniversary this year. And for once, maybe we'll be able to do something. Let me see. Hopefully.
No, and I guess I
Oh my
lied.
god,
I
August 4th
did.
is on Sunday. Sweet deal.
Okay.
So,
I lied. We did go to Mount Rushmore in 2018, which was the last time.
I mean, that's still 6 years, though, of not being able to take like a reasonable vacation where you should be able to
Correct.
take a vacation at almost every. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a fancy type of thing, right? Where you go blow $5,000 or whatever it may be, or, say I'm blowing my tax money or tax return on it. I'm just saying you just take a vacation, get away from work, maybe even just go down to Chicago or, you know, go to
I don't want to
Minnesota
die.
for a weekend or something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be like take a whole freaking, you know, or it doesn't necessarily have to be leave the state either, right? If you're taking a vacation, just making sure you're getting out of Sheboygan or getting out of the city that
Yeah,
you do reside in
I
more
understand your
often
point. I
than.
mean, we've done that several times. I mean, we've been up by you guys a few times throughout the years for the Menasha insurance, that the place
Don't
we used
count
to
that.
work at.
I don't count that. I'm sorry. That's not a vacation. That's a job relation
No, but
thing.
we stayed that weekend.
Yeah, you still had
We
some
bummed
sort of.
around. We went to the mall and
Yeah, but that
I
was
don't know,
during that was during free time before the event or anything like that, right?
after.
Or after. So, I mean, you were there. Your main reason for being in the area was for work. If it wasn't for work, you probably wouldn't have come up, right?
Yeah, so we went, and then a couple years, like 2 years ago, we went to Prairie du Chien, hung out with her family.
Nice.
So we've been around Wisconsin.
Yeah. But if you're talking like big vacations or getting out of Wisconsin and actually just not having to do anything, yes, I agree. Um, it would be kind of nice. It is nice to be able to do that. Maybe, and I when I think about this too, like my family vacations have always, or for the past number of years, have been just staying in Wisconsin, where we go up north for an entire week. That's actually what we're doing while we go down to Florida. Is we're going to stay in a house for an entire week, um, which it's going to be great. It's just going to be longer for some other people, like my family, um, because again, it is about a 20 some hour drive, right?
It's not
Where,
bad. I
well,
mean,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's going to be a 20 some hour drive compared to,
have you done it?
um, I've done some kind of drive like that in the past. Um,
I meant like to Florida.
Me personally, no.
Okay.
Not, not not to the point where I was of driving age. Like when I was younger, we used to go down there. Um, I think my mom and dad did do some driving, but we also didn't have to necessarily, if it was during the summer or whatnot. Obviously, I was young enough. I didn't have a job or anything.
Yeah.
I was going through the, as some people would call it, the. I'm going to say this because it's just the thing that's on the top of my head, right? Um, I was going through my trial run of my life. Being a child is like a trial run before you have to start paying your way through it, right? Because once you start working and paying taxes, you're now welcome to adult world. Whereas as a child, you don't have to pay taxes. It's like a trial. It's like your trial in life as you're growing up until whenever you get a job, right? I mean, I got a job at 14, so I started paying a little bit of taxes here and there, but now I'm paying taxes left and right every paycheck, right? I mean, granted, every paycheck I was making from McDonald's at 14 was still taking some taxes out, but not. I would almost say it wasn't significant as to what it is now, if that makes sense. Like, again, I was only working probably 16 hours a week or something like that based on
Hmm.
labor laws. So, yeah.
So my Natalie and I did the drive to Florida in her early '90s Honda Accord with over
Mm,
140,000 miles on it. Uh, so the most boring part of your drive is going to be Indiana and
yep,
South Illinois.
I
But you're
believe
not
that.
in Illinois for very, I don't know. I don't it doesn't feel like you're in it for much longer because Indiana is the longest part. After Indiana, it gets a little bit more interesting, a little bit more hilly and everything else.
Yeah.
And then the final stretch through Florida is a nightmare. At least when we went. It
Oh,
was
I
as
could.
soon as we got into the state, bumper to bumper traffic for 2.5 hours, and it took us so much longer to get to our hotel. We got into our hotel at midnight. We were supposed to get there at 10 o'clock at night. We got there at midnight.
Yeah, I could believe that. I mean, um, so this takes me back a little bit here to a couple of years ago now. I can't believe it's been a couple of years, but um, my cousin and his wife, they had their reception. Okay, and I was planning on going, right, but I took the children with. Okay, and they lived out in Ohio. They live in Ohio, and that's still a nice drive, nice long drive for myself. And it's just myself and the kids. So I leave on a Friday after they get off out of school or whatnot, and oh boy, I didn't get to into the hotel parking lot until like 1 o'clock on Saturday morning.
Isn't it great?
I mean, that's with the time. That's with the time jump too, right? Because
Right.
once you hit Ohio, it's all of a sudden like goes from midnight to 1 o'clock.
Yep.
So yeah, I lost an hour of sleep. That's and yeah, it was fun. Chicago though, during the time that I was actually driving, wasn't too bad. But if you leave, I mean, there are
You
always
have to
parts.
leave at a certain point.
Yeah, you have to leave at a certain point, or make sure you're not going through normal day. Like
Right.
if you're leaving and going through Chicago, you want to make sure you're probably doing it damn well early enough. Like my neighbors, they'll leave like if they're going to Vermont or wherever for family and everything, they will leave their house at like 2 or 3 in the morning. That way they're getting to Chicago and not having
Yep.
to worry about the hell of traffic.
Yep.
Um, yeah, because that highway just gets so congested.
I hate it.
It's so bad. Um, it doesn't matter how it really doesn't matter what time you get there in the day. If you hit it at the wrong time of day, you're screwed. You're sitting there
Yep.
probably for a couple hours, or what feels like a couple hours. But um, no, I've actually made some long trips in the past as well. So still on vacation right here. Actually, I think this is what this is what we're going to talk about for the rest of the night is vacation, which is great. I don't care. Everybody's entitled to a vacation. I would say it does not matter. You need a chance for your body to reset. Um, it's funny. I've got a story that's not so much about vacation, but it's more or less something my boss had told me a couple days ago or so, um, like last week or something like that. But I'll share that in a moment here. As far as vacation, um, my family, we used to go out to the Outer Banks. Okay. At one point, we had made a drive through the Outer Banks or even Virginia. We went through Virginia, and we had basically we did this trip in 20 some hours. Okay. That's still a long drive going
Mm-hmm.
from Midwest to the eastern part of the states. Um, I love the drive. I mean, I love the scenery that you go through. Like Virginia's great, the hills and everything. Indiana's still shit. That doesn't change. Um, I think if I recall though, going from east to west or coming to the Midwest or going east, Ohio is the longest part of the trip
Okay.
because it is such a big state at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
it is all highway, but it's still I feel like the longest portion of the trip. Where if you're going from the north part of the Midwest, so from Wisconsin down to Florida, Indiana is probably going to be the longest because it's the most boring. It's probably the most plain state. Um, Mind you, I do not. If you ever do have to stop, avoid Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made that mistake one time with my friend coming home from he had flown me out or bought me a ticket to fly me from Wisconsin out to Virginia to pick him up from the Navy because he was finally getting out. So I flew out, got there on Friday, we partied, or was it? I was there Friday, Saturday, we left Sunday or something like that. Sunday morning and made the trip. No, we left Saturday, I think it was, or whatnot, and we got home Sunday or something like that. Um, Anywho, point being is we we were doing just great. Okay, he started the trip. I was still a little kind of still waking up from being drunk or whatnot. Um, so he started driving, and then after we stopped for gas or something like that, I took over. I took over for the rest of the drive because he's not a fan of driving. He will not do it unless he has to, which it's just funny. I mean, he got his license because he was kind of forced to get it. But I made the drive. I made the drive. We went. I made it from Virginia all the way to Indiana. It was getting late. I wanted to keep going. Be like, yep, I can make it through. I've done this before. Um, but we stopped. We had to stop, and we stopped in Gary, Indiana. Got a reasonable hotel or motel. But the point being is Gary, Indiana is not exactly the greatest place to stop because it's, I think, one of the most or the highest percentage for like crime and everything, if I'm correct. Based on
Yeah,
what I
it's
was
up there.
based on what I was told, it is like the highest or one of the highest percentages in crime rate. Um, Luckily, we didn't deal with any of the crime, but just maybe we got lucky in the spot we did stay. I don't know. But never again will I stop in Gary, Indiana. I'll stop outside or make the push into Illinois just to be safer.
Maybe
So,
it's kind of like parts of Milwaukee. Maybe it's just got its parts.
yeah, maybe, but Gary right on the border of Illinois and everything is still who knows. Yeah, but that's that point. Vacation. Take your vacation. You are entitled to vacation. You need it to recharge yourself. Um, And Jared, what about you? I know you've said you haven't really had a good vacation for a while now,
Since 2018, yeah.
since 2018, right? So you definitely are feeling burned out because that's 6 years without taking a full week of vacation. Taking weekends is one thing. I mean, that's still only you work Friday to, let's say, for example, you work on a Friday and you're working your regular job, right? 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever. Okay, so you get done. Now you have the rest of Friday and then 2 full days to recharge. Folks, that's not always long enough.
No, it's not. It's not long
it's
enough,
it's
especially when you have kids.
it's not long enough when you have kids or your week has been truly stressful and you need something just to get away from that. That's what your vacation is for. Now, I get it. We try to rack up PTO or however our PTO happens, right? Some companies give you a lump sum. Some people, some give you based on your tenure. You've been there for 5 years, so you get 5 weeks of vacation. Good for you. Or maybe not so much a week of vacation a year, but something of that sort, right? But it's always, your vacation time is always based on the tenure. Um, I think my dad at one point before he retired, he had like 5 or 6 weeks of vacation. He would use one of it to go down to, one of it to go on a family vacation, one of it to go on his annual golf outing trip with his buddies. And then at the end of it, he still had a shit ton left. He took off like, I think during the summer he would take half days on Fridays or whatever. But I think he may have made that up throughout the rest of the week, so worked longer weekdays or like Monday through Thursday, and then had half days on Fridays. But he would use the rest of his vacation or whatnot. Um, I think he used like actually had 3 weeks of vacation that he would use in December, so I have off the rest of the year or however he had, however he made that work out, right? Um, it's just crazy how much you can get off by just staying with the company for so long. Now, every company is different, right? My company, I make about 4 hours every paycheck or something like that, or every pay period. I don't remember. So I'm making at least a day in, uh, yeah, I think it's a day every two paychecks. So a day every month, basically. Is it long? Is that good? I don't know. I wouldn't count it as good, but it's like another company I used to work for. You had to accrue your PTO uh, in order, to have it. One other company I worked for, we went from the accrual basis to a lump sum, where you were just handed your PTO right there and then, um, and it would renew every year. But then they changed that to it would renew on the date your hire date. So because in the beginning it was all right, everybody, here's your lump sum of hours, right? You know what, you have an entire year from January 1st to December 31st to use it, and then you could take over, well, I think it was like 40 hours. And then they're like, nope, we're done with that. It's Here's your PTO on the date of your hire. You have you can Here's how much you have based on your tenureship or tenure with the company. Uh, you get some more, blah blah blah. But you also can carry 40 over from the previous year, but anything above 40 is gone. So it's like you lose the rest of it if you don't use it, right? So I mean that's a lot, right? I'm gonna give you I don't know, 240 hours of PTO, right? And if you don't use any of it the first, 1 year, and then all of a sudden it's like, yep, here's another 240 hours that we're going to throw on you. Now you have 480 hours to use within 1 year. That's a lot. That's cheating the system there. And actually, that's unhealthy for somebody. Honestly, I know there are people that do it, and I'm sorry, you shouldn't have to go through that where you don't use a vacation. Um, I mean, I personally myself struggle in the fact of I don't use vacation all that often either, or vacation time, because I don't have a need to take off. The only time I do take off is during my family vacation. That's it. Is that really good enough? I don't think so. I think I do need a little more here to recharge my batteries. But I also don't make enough PTO throughout the year to justify multiple vacations, which is the downside of things. What about you, Jared? How much? How does your company do PTO or vacation time?
It's unlimited.
Hmm.
You don't accrue. You do take whatever you need.
Hmm.
And we have
Interesting.
employees that use that system. And there are people like me who, if I don't work, I'm going to have 10 times the amount of work that I did when I left. So, because nobody seems to do it when I'm gone. So
Yeah, that's always a
I
hard
choose
thing
not. I
too.
choose not to take PTO because I don't want to sit here and play catch up for 2 weeks while trying to continue my job.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's a hard thing to go through too. Um, where you are the one that always does the work, and then you leave and nothing ever gets done, or it feels like nothing does get done because you are the one, again, you're the mule. You're doing the workload
That should
with
change,
everybody
though.
else.
Hopefully,
Hopefully, now the fact that you're doing your
hopefully,
job, or your title is now meant for what you're doing rather than taking on
right?
other workloads. So hopefully, maybe this time you'll be able to take that vacation. So you don't actually have to, you don't earn it or anything. You can just you have vacation and you'd be like, hey boss, I'm taking vacation. Nice. Is there like a seniority thing then too? Because I know with my company, um, we did like a priority sheet earlier this year where we had to fill out kind of like a priority. because they also kind of go off of, stupid as this is, they also kind of go off of seniority within like your facility. So if multiple people ask off for the same week, you may not be guaranteed it, which is to me the dumbest thing ever. Because like,
That
okay,
that
well,
works like that too.
no, I'm just saying it's the dumb. I think it's the dumbest thing ever, right?
Oh, it is.
Where especially if you guys are all in like different departments, it's like, okay, well, me being off that week does not affect the next team over, since I am a completely different department. Like if you had multiple doctors, like general dentists, that were taking off the same week or whatnot, that's a problem. But the fact that I'm in the ortho department and you've got like high, general department, and we take off. When my doctor takes off, I still come into work. I still work 36 hours.
Yeah.
When general dentists take off, their dental assistants don't work. Their hygienists can still work because they're licensed. Licensed. Yeah, licensed. Wow, words all of a sudden just don't seem right to me. They have a license, they can do that, but they're working under their own license. They're not working under their general dentist. So it is one of those things. Yeah, they probably belong to the general dentist in a way, but they don't have to have the dentist in there to do anything. Um, but yeah, no. So it's stupid. But like one of the things was I filled out my priority sheet. I'm like, okay, well, I want this week off, and this is my top priority. Like my family vacation is my top priority, and then I filled out the two other ones, thinking, okay, if I don't get this one, maybe I can get this one or this one. Well, the other one I asked off for was my birthday, kind of like a birthday week. I got that approved. Like the company said, here you go, you can have that one off. And then there was one like time set up in August and that got approved as well. I wouldn't have time. I wouldn't have PTO for that because of the accrual basis and how much PTO I do make throughout the year, right? It's just funny because my supervisor told me, she's like, yes, you got these approved, but at the same time, you wouldn't even have enough PTO to have all these off. It's like, no, that's not what I was looking for or thinking about when it was priority sheet. My thought was, all right, this is the one I want off first. The other two are just kind of like, all right,
Fail safes.
yeah, fail safes. But I would still be pissed if I didn't get this off
Right.
because this is a family vacation. We've had this planned. I even brought this up to you when I first started and blah, 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 right? Um, it would have pissed me off if I didn't get off. So, but yeah, no, I think or vacation, not necessarily family vacation, but vacation is essential. It's a great way to recharge. The ideal, from what I've heard in the past, though, too, for the necessary amount of vacation time for somebody isn't a week. So, like 7 days. It's actually like 8 days.
I would definitely. I do when I do take a week off because, thankfully, my company does require us to take a week off throughout the year, and if we don't, we kind of get in trouble or like we're forced
Oh,
to. Um, so a week is 5 days. I prefer like a Monday and then return on the following Wednesday or Tuesday.
yeah. So, why do you prefer to do that?
Because honestly, 5 days just isn't enough to reset your clock. I think in my experience, it takes at least 2.5 to 3 before you're completely like you're back to being who you are. You're
Yeah.
not on company brain. You're on daddy or Jared brain.
No,
And
that's
then
fair.
you just have that extra, have the rest of the time to live in that space and have a little
Yeah.
bit like extra days to prepare yourself to come back. I don't know.
No, no, that's actually what I think it is too. Is why they say, or there have been studies out there that say 8 days is actually kind of like the ideal for vacation time. Because again, it does take so many days to finally get out of that mind frame that you're in of work, 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 work. that's already half your work week or half your vacation, right?
Yep.
As you mentioned, 2 to 3 days, and you finally have reset your body to be into a moment where you can finally relax, enjoy the time that was meant to be there. And then all of a sudden, okay, the rest of the vacation goes on. You're having a good time. You're not worried about work or anything like that. You're just worried about what's happening around you. Um, then comes the weekend, right? So Saturday, Sunday, or whatever. Well, now you've got to focus up, get ready to go back. You got to get home, or you know, granted, this is more or less granted if you've left somewhere, right? You packed up your shit, you went for a week or something. Uh, Now you're coming back home. You got to unpack and get ready, right? Now you've got to de-stress from your vacation. You can't do that on a Sunday and expect to go
Nope.
back to work the next day.
Right.
A lot of people do it, which I don't think is healthy because we come back and we are exhausted
Yep.
because we didn't have that extra day to take off and reset ourselves for the work week,
Well,
knowing
not
that we're
only
coming back.
right, but if you're gone, like even if you're gone the weekend and you come back on a Saturday night or Sunday, when are you going to have time to like do all the laundry and put the house
Yeah.
back together when you come back? It takes at least a day to do that stuff.
Hell, I
That's
know,
why if
man.
I'm ever gone, like on a starting on a Thursday, even I will not come back that following Monday. It'll be Tuesday.
Right. No, I mean, I know that's something you've always talked about. It's like
Yep.
you and your wife have always been like, "Yep, we take a weekend off. We don't go back to work until Tuesday
Yep.
to give ourselves some time to adjust again or catch up on the shit that we need to do at home." Hell, my house is just a mess anyways. It's always going to be a mess. I've got clothes on the stairs. I've got, a mess in my living room, blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter if I leave and come back. Yeah, sure, we'll try to clean up before we leave and whatever it may be, but no, I know some people don't always have that luxury though or that option to do that. And it sucks cuz I'm one of those people that just doesn't have the opportunity or luxury to take off that extra day and come back on a Tuesday. Um would I love to be able to do that? Yes. But sometimes it's just not ideal for people. Um should it be ideal? Yes. I wholeheartedly agree that you do need that extra day to do what you need to do at home in order to be fully living at home again and get even rested again so you can be prepared, not just, prepared to return to work the next day.
Yeah.
Not just like, okay, I'm done with vacation because you need a vacation from vacation basically. And working to get a vacation from vacation is not the same. You need just one day to come back to reality after your long vacation.
Yep.
So, there be it. Vacation talk. I did want to also, so I know I mentioned something earlier about my boss and resetting, because we talked about resetting, taking vacation time to reset your body, if you can, right? It is ideal to take vacation so you can reset yourself after who knows months of work and stress piling on top of you. um but I was talking to my boss one day because I had like this weird dream, and I remembered it to a very a degree. And Jared, it's actually funny because this dream took me back to Whitewater.
Oh, I've had those dreams.
But here's the thing, okay? This dream took me back to Whitewater, and it took me back in time to when we were in college, basically. But there was something going on.
St. Patty's Day?
No, not St. Patty's Day. There was
Oh boy.
there was a mystery going on. People were disappearing, and a few days later they were being found dead.
The witch trials?
Not really the witch trials.
That would have been really back in time.
Oh god, yeah, no. It wasn't that. It was they were just being found dead and they were finding out that they were being pushed off of high places.
Oh.
So, somebody had gone missing, all right? And eventually it I don't know how, but it was the fact that it how I got back to Whitewater was really crazy because this was happening like all over the states. But yet somehow a victim had there was a victim here in Whitewater and or somebody had gone missing in Whitewater. They were going to be the next victim. I think it was like an organized group across the states. So like a secret group, right? And then they were just they had their targets or their profiles of possible victims and everything. Um, and it was really weird because all of a sudden you hear that somebody goes missing on Whitewater's college campus, and you're like, okay, the group likes to, you know, murder these people by pushing them off high places. I'm like, shit, the twin buildings, the twin dorms, right? Um, I'm like, that's where it's gonna happen. Then I'm like, no, it can't happen there. The roof is blocked off. There's no way for them to get access to the top, the roof of the building. And so it's like, okay, where are they going to go? Long behold, now granted, this part isn't true. Like on campus, it happened in the graveyard on campus, but there's no like tall building in the graveyard, right?
No.
If I recall, there's no tall building there. So I'm like, okay, since the towers are out of where are they going to do this? I'm like, they're probably going to try to make this like haunted because of the witch trials and everything that have happened, right? Or the scary shit that can happen within the area. So I'm like, okay, it's getting late. The victim's going to turn up, soon. I'm I'm going into the graveyard, and all of a sudden I see that it was getting ready to happen. Like I see the victim at an edge of a like this tall building in the graveyard that's non-existent, but in the dream it was. And then I see a person in a cloak hiding their face and everything, getting ready to push them off. And the last part before I woke up from this dream was me saying no, and that was it. And then I came to, I'm like, holy shit, that was the fucking weirdest dream ever. What the fuck? And then I told my doctor about it too. He's like, yeah, it's weird that you're able to actually remember that like that
Yeah.
vividly. Um, I'm like, yeah, it's the first time in a long time that I've actually been able to remember some kind of dream. And he was telling me, it's like, you think of it this way too, for everybody out there, a human body normal state is sleeping, is resting, right? Hence why infants sleep so much when they're first born. You being awake right now is technically disturbing the natural state of what we're supposed to be in, which is sleeping. So us sleeping is our way to revitalize our body for the next day. And to us, when we sleep, it's like a vacation for our body from the stress. It allows us to de-stress from the day of work that we put on our body. So just remember that as well. When you go to sleep, I don't want you to overthink it. But when you folks go to sleep after hearing this, just remember you're de-stressing from the day. when you rest. So if you're taking a nap or if you're actually going to bed, you're trying to de-stress your body right now, but also make sure you take a vacation. Jared, anything you want
Yes.
to add? I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I mean, just try to take vacations if you can. It's definitely a luxury, uh, for sure.
A luxury
Whether
that
it's the
should not be a
money,
luxury.
it in America it is, but
I know.
everywhere else it's not. It's mandatory that you have a goddamn anyway. Besides, while you're here in the states, if you can afford one, if you can have spare the time for one, even if it's do the old Jared thing and take a week to do shit around your house, which always ends up not working out. But anyway, just take time off of your duties, spend it with your family, or even selfishly get a little me time. Take
Hey, I
that
remember.
trip that you want to do yourself.
Me
Like
time.
like I've been scheming in the future to go to Nova Scotia and rewalk the Trailer Park Boys filming
Oh,
locations.
hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, that sounds like a great time if you're a fan of Trailer Park Boys, um, and whatnot. So
I should bring my cousin. He's My cousin Evan is a huge Trailer Park Boys fan.
there you go. I mean, it'd be fun, like you said. It's getting away. It's being selfish
Yeah.
to the degree of you're able to do something you want to do. It's like a bucket
Yep.
list item,
Yep.
and not have to worry about the following day or the fall, going to work the next day. You're able to start recharging yourself for upcoming events. Again, now, yes, again, it is a luxury here in the States, which is unfortunate. But everywhere else, well, I won't say everywhere else, but I feel like in Europe, they do make it mandatory that you at least take a week off throughout the year,
Yep.
or even a couple weeks off.
More than that. I forgot
Their
because
their
I have a
system.
client that is based out of it's not Dutch, it's Belgium.
Okay,
They're Dutch, so it's Belgium. And they have a month and a half stretch where you can't reach them at all because they're all on a holiday.
nice.
Yep.
It's a long holiday. That's awesome. I mean, it just reminds me of like Chinese New Year too, or just the New Year in general, right? Or Chinese New Year, because that happens at the end of January, beginning of February, basically, if I recall. And all of a sudden, they're gone for 2 weeks. Everything is shut down.
Yep.
All jobs are shut down. They're busy recharging their batteries and celebrating the new year. They don't care about what's going on around the world. So, if you get the luxury, take the vacation. You deserve a vacation. I don't even want to say it's a luxury at this point. It should be required within even the states that you take a vacation. Like I wish all companies would just say yes, you get 1 week of vacation whenever you want it. Take it. I wish a lot of companies would start doing that. But they probably won't because this is what they
Well, the
want.
weekend's long enough, JJ. The weekend's
But
long enough. 2 days.
but
Oh,
they
yeah.
also want their money. All companies just want their money. Greedy, greedy
Yeah.
bastards.
Let's okay. Until next time.
Until next time. No. Anyways, guys, vacation. It's always, it's great. Take it when you can, if you can. Um, if not, just recharge yourself. Find a way to recharge yourself. Uh, Make sure you get a good night's rest as well. That's going to be critical for everybody, just so you can recharge day after day. Um, the vacations are going to be for long periods of time, right? So I'm taking vacation in July here, thankfully. It'll give me a chance to recharge after 6 or so months of working. Not like my job is stressful, or too stressful now compared to what I used to do, where I felt like I was being bogged down and just depressed. But it's great. Vacation is a great way to get out of that state as well. So, Jared, any closing remarks?
All good, man. Take your vacations, folks.
Take your vacations, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.